Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we are diving deep into one of the tarot's more challenging cards, the Five of Cups. This is a card that tends to pop up when we're feeling disappointed or kind of let down. But as you're about to see, its message is actually way more hopeful than it looks at first glance. So let's get into it. Wow, this quote really hits home, doesn't it? It just gets right to the very heart of the Five of Cups. It's all about that pang of regret, that feeling you get when you only realize how much something or someone meant to you after they're gone. It's a heavy feeling for sure, but it's also the starting point for a really profound journey of rediscovery. All right, so here's what we've got on the agenda today. We're going to start by unpacking its main theme of disappointment. Then, we'll look at the upright meaning, which focuses on loss, and contrast that with the reversed message, which is all about hope. We'll also get into some real-world advice for different areas of your life. And finally, we'll talk about the powerful choice this card is really asking you to make. Okay, let's dive right in with the card's immediate emotional vibe. The Five of Cups. It really doesn't pull any punches. It puts the reality of loss and all the tough stuff that comes with it right in front of us. So this card usually shows up when things just haven't gone the way we'd hoped. I mean, who hasn't been there, right? You have this big gap between your expectations and what actually happens. And that gap, well, it gets filled with disappointment, sadness, and yeah, maybe even a little bit of self-pity. The real story here is all in the imagery, in the symbols. You've got this cloaked figure, totally absorbed by those three spilled cups, which stand for all their disappointments and what they feel they've lost. But look a little closer. Right behind them, two cups are still standing, totally full. Then there's a river, which is like this flood of emotion, but there's also a bridge, a clear path forward to that safe castle in the distance. And all of that focus on the negative? Well, that leads us straight into the card's upright meaning. When it shows up this way, it's really shining a spotlight on a mindset that's fixated on what's gone. So the key words you're looking at here are things like regret, failure, and pessimism. The card is pointing to that tendency we sometimes have to just get stuck, replaying old hurts and bitter memories over and over. It's that feeling of being so wrapped up in what went wrong that you just can't see a way out. Yeah, those three spilled cups, that's where all the attention is focused. They could represent a missed chance, a dream that didn't pan out, or an emotional investment that just fell flat. This is the source of all that deep grief we see in the card. And this cloaked figure, gosh, they are the perfect picture of being stuck, aren't they? The way they're standing, that heavy black cloak, it all points to someone who is actively choosing to stay in their sorrow. They might be blaming themselves, feeling like a victim, just completely unable to see past their own pain. But here's the thing, and this is so important. Not everything is lost. Those two cups are still standing. They represent hope, new possibilities, and the simple fact that there's still something good to hold on to. But because the figure's back is turned, they are completely 100% missing out on what the future could still bring. Which naturally brings us to the big turning point. When the Five of Cups shows up reversed, the whole perspective flips. We stop focusing on what's been spilled, and we start to appreciate what's still left in the cups. I love this slide because it shows the contrast so clearly. I mean, just look at the difference. You go from loss and grief to acceptance and moving on, from pessimism to peace. The reversal signals this huge emotional shift. It's a conscious choice to start healing. So when you pull this card reversed, it's actually a really good sign. It means you're starting to really process what happened. You're beginning to see the lessons you learned from that painful time. You might even realize how that whole experience made you stronger, more resilient. The reversed card is basically giving us a little roadmap for healing. It's a whole process, right? You realize what happened, you find the lesson in it, and this part is so important, you forgive yourself. It's all about consciously letting go of the past so you can finally turn around and see those two full cups that have been waiting for you all along. Okay, so that's the theory. But how does this actually show up in our day-to-day lives? Let's take a look at some practical ways this card can apply to your love life, your career, and your finances. All right, let's run through these. So for love and relationships, the upright card can point to the grief from a breakup, but it also asks you, hey, is there anything here that can be saved? Reversed, it's a super clear sign that you're healing and making space for new love. Now, for your career, upright could mean a job loss or a project that failed. But when it's reversed, it shows you're bouncing back, maybe even realizing that loss actually pushed you towards something much better.
And with money, upright is a warning about a financial hit. Reverse, though, that signals relief and you're starting to rebuild your financial security.
And all of this really leads us to the most empowering message of the entire card. At the end of the day, the Five of Cups is about choice. You can stay right where you are, staring at the spilled cups, or you can choose to turn around and cross that bridge. And we can't forget about that bridge in the background. It's always there, offering a way out, a path away from the loss and toward the safety of that castle. It is such a powerful reminder that no matter how big and overwhelming your feelings are, there is always a way forward, a way through the sorrow. So let's just recap the big takeaways here, okay? Forgiveness for yourself and others is absolutely vital. Your past mistakes have some really valuable lessons to teach you if you let them. But most importantly, you have the power to shift your perspective and see the new opportunities just waiting for you. You can't change the past, but you can always, always choose to move forward. So as we start to wrap up, I want you to get a little personal for a moment. Just take a second and really ask yourself, what are you feeling disillusioned or disappointed with in your life right now? Just naming it, just acknowledging it. That's a huge first step. And then let's flip it around with one last really powerful question. Once you're ready to turn away from what's been lost, what new possibilities are waiting for you? What's in those two full cups that maybe you just haven't noticed yet? That right there is the hopeful promise of the Five of Cups.
Continue your tarot journey by liking, subscribing, and checking out our books. The link is in the description below. Until next time, goodbye.